So what are the benefits of creating a time trampoline? They're the same benefits as scheduling in a way, except with the time trampoline, you're giving all the different personalities that you have space to just be themselves without the other personalities getting in the way. So I have a producer personality, and she's here right now wearing this blazer. But I also have an artist personality, and she's wearing a velvet jumpsuit. So we're both here on the same day, but we're talking at different times. The producer self has a very important voice in my life. She's the one that knows if the thing is going to sell, if it's sustainable, if it's a thing that we should hire other people to make, if it's a thing that should take 6 months or 6 years. The artist self is the one who doesn't want to hear any of that shit. She just wants to make a mess and throw things around and take risks and make mistakes. They need to exist at different times. My problem, and the reason I created this time trampoline, is that the producer voice in me is much louder than the artist voice. And so the producer voice was getting all the time and all the attention, and I was miserable. I have a wonderful experience when I'm in my producer voice if my artist is being fed. If my artist is not being fed, my producer is an asshole. Another benefit of creating the time trampoline is it helps us to identify who we need to be when we show up in different scenarios in the world. Who do I need to be when I walk into this meeting? Is it producer Mandy? Is it artist Mandy? Is it mom Mandy? Is it friend Mandy? Is it romantic Mandy? It stops us from dating to network or, going to a kid's birthday party and trying to pitch our show. It helps us to have a life outside of our work. Most importantly, the time trampoline helps you to make space for play. One of the most incredible things that has happened for my clients after participating in the time trampoline workshop is them coming back to me. Well, I'll tell you Mario's story. After Mario created his time trampoline, he came to another session and said, I was in the kitchen with my wife and I was just looking at her. And she turned and looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" And he was like, "I'm just looking at you." And she was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Because I love you." And he realized that it was because he wasn't walking around unconsciously thinking about all of the things that he should be doing. All of those things that were rolling around in his brain constantly that were keeping him from being present with his family. It freed him up to be present with the people that he loved. If nothing else happens from this for you, that's my wish, is that the anxiety of that to-do list goes away, that you know that it's being taken care of. That only comes when you start to build that trusting relationship with yourself, by showing up and doing the things that yesterday's self set up as a gift for today's self. The time trampoline is a gift that you create today to give to yourself tomorrow. And by extension, that gift spreads out into your friends and family and to the world. And I'm not kidding about the world thing. Even that one Instagram post that you create, well, fuck Instagram. Even that one short film that you create that inspires the next director, that inspires you off of that director to then direct more, that inspires you to create a class and teach other directors and spread art and messages and create questions in the world that create sustainable change. That comes from sitting down for 1 hour and writing a script. I promise you it will pay off. If you don't have enough reasons to keep showing up and keep pressing play on these exercises, here's 2 more. 1, the time trampoline will help you to stop doing things that are no longer serving you. When you start showing up consciously to all of the parts of your day, You realize the things that don't resonate because you're present. 2, you keep the leads warm. So when we think dramatically and we think about doing our creative work in big bursts, what often happens is we make a whole bunch of phone calls to produce the project. And then that burst runs out of energy and 3 months go by and all of the leads that I warmed up go away. Or I sit down to write the script and I get really into it and I get into flow and I write like 20 pages. And then I go back to it 3 months later and I can't find my train of thought. When I set up these times, 3 times a week, once a week, whatever it is for you in your creative practice, it keeps that momentum going so that eventually the thing creates itself and it stays within the same creative through line that it was when you started it. Think of it as practicing the experience of experiencing.